Welcome to Sidebar. When I heard of coming soon, I always think about the movies, but I guess it refers to listings too, Catherine. So what is a coming soon listing?
A coming soon listing is not anything new. It's certainly something we've seen in the real estate market before. Tends to ebb and flow a bit with market trends. Now, where we're in a hot market, there's really low inventory and high demand. We're seeing real estate agents trying to get a leg up for their clients and use whatever tactics they can in order to get the best deal possible for their clients. So a lot of agents are putting an advertisement out before a property is listed and saying, stay tuned, this property is coming, it's going to be a good one.
Well, so they're doing it. Does it mean it's right? Is it legal to do this type of advertising?
It's certainly permissible to have a coming soon listing as long as you follow certain rules.
Well, so Catherine, what are those rules?
So there's obviously the Realtor Code of Ethics that all realtors are required to adhere to. There's also state regulations that you want to adhere to, as well as the basic fiduciary duties that all agents owe to their clients in a transaction. And when you're thinking about coming soon listings, you also need to take into consideration what the MLS rules and regulations are.
Okay, so you and I were talking, and you mentioned earlier there's a difference between a delayed MLS listing and a non-MLS listing. So what are those differences, and what should realtors know about those differences?
So a delayed MLS listing is when an agent meets with a client who wants to sell their house. They enter into a listing agreement, but for some reason that client's not ready to have their property placed into the MLS. This may be because they want to do some home improvement projects. It might be because they need to do their financing. Whatever their reason is, they say, yeah, we're going to sell our property with you, but we just don't want to put it on the market yet. So that's called a delayed listing. So you enter into the listing agreement, and then you have to submit the proper paperwork to MLS to say, I have this agreement, we're going to list it in MLS, we're just not doing it yet. And what that means is you're prohibited by MLS rules from advertising that property during that window between when you sign the listing agreement and it's ultimately put into the MLS. When you have a non-MLS listing, it's exactly what it sounds like. That property is not going to appear in the MLS. So once you have that listing agreement, you've had a conversation with your client, you've determined that it's in their best interest to not place that property in the MLS. You submit the proper paperwork to MLS to say, I'm marketing this property, but it's not going to be appearing in the MLS. And then you're free to market that property however you see fit. It could be a lawn sign, it could be through social media, it could be through a number of different websites, but you're free to do that. And additionally, you're not going to be bound by that non-MLS status forever. So if the client were to change their mind, for example, they certainly could place it into the MLS at a later date.
Okay, so there's coming soon and the delayed MLS listing, non-MLS listing. So how does a realtor make sure they are acting in the best interest of their client here?
So the first step is going to be having a very frank conversation with your client and determining what their primary objective is with selling their house. For example, if you have a client whose primary objective is to make as much money as possible, it might not be in their best interest to keep it out of the MLS because you're limiting the pool of potential buyers. You're having less exposure of that property, so you might not get the best offer that's available. The other side of it is you might have somebody that doesn't want 100 people walking through their house. They'd rather limit it and take the best deal they get of the people it's available to. Okay. So you really have to have that conversation with your client and figure out what it is that's important to them and if it's in their best interest to do that.
Okay. Well, thank you for that explanation. Thank you for explaining this newish, not newish phenomena, coming soon listings. Well, that's all I have on this topic. Thank you for watching Sidebar. If you want more information, please check out our website at marealtor.com. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Eric.